candidates give you a brief introduction to themselves, and then we'll continue on. Sir.
Good evening. I'm Dr. John Pitchford, and aren't you glad there are not 11 candidates for mayor? I'm a retired doctor, a dentist. I'm a retired United States Army colonel. I'm a businessman with more than 20 years of experience. I'm also a successful anti-corruption activist. That's the values I want to bring to the city as mayor. There are 6 issues I believe that are important with the government right now. There's a severe lack of transparency in the government. We have too many secret lawsuits, secret settlements that you're not allowed to know about. If you want to make a FOIA request, you have to 18 seconds. The city will not negotiate in good faith with its employees. They are seeking other revenues. The city takes actions to disrupt the daily lives of people without their consent. The city is unwilling to keep public lands in public hands. And the city is severely underfunded, and it diverts hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenues to special interests. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Lawrence Joseph Martinez. I'm running for mayor because you guys didn't vote for me last time. You know, you've been listening to a lot of people who are telling you they're going to spend your money. Spend, spend, spend. Maybe it's time we save a little bit. Maybe it's time we need to decide what we're going to spend our money on. Many people are telling you all the different plans they have for homelessness. The city has no business in the homelessness. I've been all the way to Santa Clara, California on patrol with the Sheriff's Department. I patrolled in District 6 downtown in Denver. I went to San Francisco to see what they did for it. And every one of those city leaders told me, Lawrence, when you get back, tell the city to get out of it, because all we did was dig a hole and we're just throwing money all the way down. Thank you.
I'm Mayor John Suthers, and I want to thank you for the invitation to be here this evening. Folks, 4 years ago, I stood on this stage as a candidate for mayor, and all the candidates agreed on one thing. Colorado Springs was in a funk. There was a dysfunctional relationship between the mayor and the council. Our roads were in very poor condition. Our stormwater system was so deficient, we were subject to a lot of suits, including one that held the prospect of us not being able to turn on the Southern delivery system. Our economy, our job growth had been stagnant for a decade. I'm pleased to tell you that in the last 4 years we've made an incredible amount of progress. With the help of the council and the citizens working together, we've paved 700 miles of highway. We're going to pave a couple hundred more in the next couple of years under 2C. We are well on our way to building the best stormwater program in the state of Colorado. We've created 28,000 new jobs in the last 4 years, and they're good jobs. The median salary is $80,000. Folks, I would appreciate the opportunity to earn your trust to act as mayor for another 4 years.
Hi, my name is Julia Parker, and I am running because I live here, I work here, my kids go to school here, much like all of you. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of the city administration and the elected officials deciding that it's apparently their city and not your city and our city. They ignore what we want. They don't listen to things. We vote on things occasionally, and then they blatantly ignore what we voted on. And that's even if they give us the chance to vote on it. There's a serious lack of transparency. There's secret meetings, secret dealings. We're giving tax incentives to companies that clearly don't need it, while we have small businesses that are struggling to stay alive who have been here through the thick and thin of our recessions and everything else. I think it's about time that the voters and residents of our city take our city back. And it belongs to us, and it's time for us to be able to have a voice and have it be heard, and more importantly, have it be listened to. Thank you.
The wrong thing, that's why it's staticky. Okay. Okay, how's this? Oh, how's this? Okay, I gotta be real still. No. Okay, First question for the candidate, since it was there, I said we rotate three. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. There.
The wire.
It's the wire, okay. The question number 2, how would you prioritize the following citizen concerns? Public safety, homelessness, short-term rentals, and bike lanes. Again, these questions are from citizens.
Are we going in order?
Okay, I'll just skip since we're just going to roll through here.
Sure. So no problem. Let's take care of this. So, public safety, number 1. I tell you what, once again, going on different places to patrol, I see that it's a necessary need here. We need to increase the amount of police officers we have now. There are ways we can raise the tax money to do that. Once again, as the gentleman that had said up here, you know, Manitou's getting all the money. I think it's time we get a little bit of it, because most of the cars that go down to Manitou, they come back to Colorado Springs. People go to Denver, people go to Pueblo, but they come back home here. Let's utilize the money that's there. Short-term rentals. You know, I really can't say anything on that because I don't have anyone next to me that's renting out a short-term rental. I live over there by Fountain and Circle, so I know we have problems there. Bike lanes, let's see what we can do.
Mayor, you want to try this one so we don't get the static?
Folks, I would leave the priorities in that order that they're read. Public safety, always number 1. Homelessness, a vexing problem. I think we've made some progress in the last 4 years, but we need to continue to work it very hard. We're in a position to do that now that we have enough shelter beds to vigorously enforce our no camping bans and make your environment that you walk in and enjoy our parks in a better environment. Short-term rentals, I think, are going to be a pretty serious issue. I think the city council has taken a good approach. Everybody's got to register and get a permit by the 1st of June, and we're going to see what the whole picture looks like. And the council is going to decide what further sorts of regulation needs to take place for short-term rentals. Bike lanes, big controversy. All I'm asking is that people get involved at an earlier point in time. The bike lanes came around. I know everybody thinks the mayor's throwing a dartboard and deciding where the bike lanes are. It's a master planning process, and people need to participate in that master planning process throughout, including when it goes to the council for approval, and not wait till the traffic engineers implementing it to complain.
No worries. So obviously, public safety is kind of encompasses all of those things. I mean, the homeless situation is not only a safety issue for the homeless who are trying to survive outside, and many of them are dying or getting sick. There's also an issue for the house people who have to deal with several of the homeless that have mental health issues, that are violating their property, and so on. The short-term rental thing, I would have to say is probably last, but it's also important. We have people who are moving into neighborhoods that may or may not have had background checks. These are neighborhoods where families are growing, where kids are at, and that becomes a safety issue. And then the bike lane thing. Anytime you have someone who's on a bike next to someone who's on a car, there's going to be a possible safety issue. There are numerous cities throughout the world that have figured out how to incorporate bikes and cars at the same time. And at the end of the day, what this all boils down to is having more officers. Okay, I'll end. I won't run over.
Thank you.
Public safety is, of course, the most important issue. We have a problem with that because we're diverting too much of our tax dollars into special interest groups. Homelessness. No mayor in this nation is going to solve that problem.
Can't hear you.
Well, you got to something about that.
49 seconds. Homelessness. This is something that no mayor in the city, the nation is going to solve. We need to reach out to other mayors to demand state and federal solutions. Short-term rentals. I don't have any information on that at all. Bike lanes, I think it was a mistake. Citizens didn't get to vote on it. And for that reason, I think we need to rethink that priority completely. Thank you.
Apologies for the crackling. We're checking to see if there's a loose wire in the back. All right. Okay, next question is, do you believe recreational marijuana wrecks young minds?
It certainly doesn't help young minds in any way. The research shows that it can dumb down young minds, lose IQ. And what we're seeing with heavy use, especially with edibles, is a propensity for psychosis with heavy use by young people. It's a bad scene. I have been an opponent of recreational marijuana since I was Attorney General. Folks sending a message to our kids it's okay to get high for fun is not a good one. In our particular community, where we've got a huge military presence, and we're competing for U.S. Space Command, the new Space Force, things like that, we want to have a community that the DOD considers as drug-free as possible. The other thing is, I want to make sure you know, it's just not my opinion. The reason why the marijuana industry did not go to the ballot this last November is because they polled it, and the vast majority of citizens of Colorado Springs have turned against recreational marijuana.
Apologies on this.
So, recreational marijuana, like many young minds, are easily damaged in impressions. Anything from watching too much TV and video games, to alcohol, to concussions while playing football, to your parents smoking near them. Young minds are very, very easily damaged. So much like alcohol and cigarettes and those things where we have a set age limit, we have those limits for a reason. So I definitely feel that it's very important to make sure that things like that stay out of the hands and out of the bodies of our minors. Once they reach 18, obviously that's becomes more of a personal decision. While the kids are kids, it's very important that we, as parents and community members, make sure that they get off to the best possible start possible, which means keeping those things out of their hands until they're old enough to learn about it and make better decisions, which is the same reason why we don't vote or smoke or give alcohol to minors.
Yes, I believe it does damage young minds. I've seen it happen in my own family. Once kids get into that, it does change them forever. And I would recommend against they're ever getting involved with it. But having said that, we need to do something about recreational marijuana we already have in the city. The problem is that it is unregulated, it is untaxed, and it is run by criminals. So I'd like for you to think about it. We had made a serious mistake when marijuana was legalized initially in 2010 by allowing people to grow this stuff in an unregulated manner. So yes, it damages young minds, but we need to think about doing something about the recreational marijuana system we already have, which is out of control. Thank you.
So yes, youth and marijuana does lead to other things, definitely so. 15–20% of those who smoke marijuana end up committing other crimes. I think everybody keeps forgetting though. Here in El Paso County, it was incredible how many people voted for recreational marijuana. Okay? Now I'm not up here so everybody can think, oh my goodness. Right? They voted it in. Apparently they wanted it. This is what they decided to do. So let's use the tax money for the programs that are needed like that. Let's give law enforcement some extra money. Let's give the fire department money. Let's move to get programs going for these kids to be able to go and speak to other kids to find out what can happen. We are a great city. We do have concern for everyone here, especially our youth. So if we can move forward to be able to have programs for them, I believe we can be able to help them and help the families that they're coming from. Thank you.
I don't know what you did, but thank you. Stop crackling.
It's been magic.
There's something. Okay, our third question was asked before. It was, will you commit to recommending that a high-speed continual care governance board be more community-based, including having more primary stakeholders
such as resident and business groups, like many other continuum of care elsewhere. Why or why not?
Alright, so this one's really, really easy for me. So I have a nonprofit that's trying to build a tiny home village for our homeless veterans and families with kids and so on. So I have a fairly decent interaction with the continuum of care, and I relate it to if you give kids in school the chance to grade their own test papers, they're gonna always give themselves A's. I mean, occasionally you might get one or two that are willing to actually be honest about stuff, but the problem is the continuum of care has the opportunity to decide who gets money, who gets funding, who gets to do what, and who's getting approved. And when they're running themselves, it makes it really difficult to make sure that small organizations or organizations that aren't in that circle are getting the attention that they need and deserve. This is our city and our community, and everybody has the right to have their voices heard. So yes, we should put business members, and we should probably put a couple homeless people in there, or people who were previously homeless, and other community leaders and members, so that we can all make it happen.
Yes, I do. I do support further community involvement with the continuum of care. One of the things we need to look at is how we fund it. So we need to get this properly funded. One of the ways to do that is to stop the diversion of tax dollars into special interest projects. Thank you.
So, I've eaten many meals at the Springs Rescue Mission, the Marion Soup Kitchen. I've walked through the camps at night. I've sat with those at the camps at night. When I was in Denver, I patrolled especially with the officer that was in charge of the homeless there. In Santa Clara, I patrolled with the sheriff department, and we're dealing with the homeless there as well. So, continuum of care, they've been around a long time. People need to realize that the Springs Rescue Mission, they have a very large budget to use what they have. We have more nonprofits dealing with homeless here than anywhere else. So what we need to do is make sure that we choose the right one to get the job done. We need for them to go ahead and let everybody know, not just special meetings. Being part of the LPMR Emerging Leaders, they've come out and let us know. It's incredible how many times the graph looked the same. Every time that I ask, where's the program that worked? Where's the spike that went down? We have to realize that in Colorado Springs, homelessness is a business now. A business. Everybody's fighting for that money. We have nonprofit people who are making over $100,000.
There's a lot of confusion about what the continuum of care is. Every city that receives any federal housing and urban development funds has to have a continuum of care. Everybody can belong to the continuum of care. Everybody in this room. And I encourage you, you can go to the monthly meetings. The membership body of the continuum of care is called the Coalition of Homeless Advocates and Providers, CHAP, meets once a month at the Marion House. Everybody can do it. But I think you realize that you can't have 400,000 members on the governing body. So every, once a year, at the end of the year, the interested folks get together to select who's going to be on the governing body the following year. And it has pretty good representation. It does have business. The Southern Colorado Apartment Association does have faith-based agencies. What I would encourage the Avenue Task Force to do is team up with some other neighborhood organizations and say, we want to be on the board, we want to be on the governing board, and let's see if we can't get you on the governing board of the continuum of care.
Thank you, Mr. Now remember, there's no right or wrong questions, and this is an information exchange too among all of us. Last question. Okay, I want to clarify this for a lot of the folks, you all probably aware, but I want to clarify. The question is, do you agree that there are different categories of homeless people, such as the have-nots, the can-nots, and the will-nots, and that they each need different responses to successfully address their situation and explain? I want to explain what those three categories are. One citizens group found the have-nots are the people that became homeless and are trying to get out. They want a hand up to get out of it. The can-nots are more like the people that can. They have mental illnesses, they have drug addictions, they have alcohol addictions, that impair their thought process and their ability to make good decisions. And the will nots are the people that want to live in that lifestyle. Go to squattheplanet.com and read that site. And as these people are known as travelers, they're going back and forth, they want it as a lifestyle. That's what that means. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify what those trees are. And there's probably great, higher granularities inside of them, but these are the two general terminologies. Way to lead the question? I'm trying to explain it. It gets confusing quick. Okay, so that's the question. Do you agree there are different categories and, and that different responses are required to address their needs? And so, who was next? Was it in here? Okay.
Yes, there are. In my experience, the two major categories are the circumstantially homeless, the folks that because of domestic violence, loss of a job, whatever, but want to be sheltered, want to be fed. Folks, we do a pretty good job dealing with them with vouchers, veterans that want to be housed, we can get them VASH vouchers, things like that. Then we have the chronically homeless, and those folks do break down into those that want services. We can get them into the rescue mission. And folks, we have comprehensive services available. We've made a lot of progress at the rescue mission with alcohol services, with mental health services, and we now have enough low shelter beds to enforce our no camping bans. That's going to flush out who wants to actually get the services. And then finally, we have this group who, largely because of drug addiction and mental illness and both, don't want to be housed. And the fact of the matter is, as mayor and the city council, we have to protect you and your ability to enjoy our community from those folks. And that means aggressively enforcing no camping bans.
Okay, ma'am.
So there are obviously definitely different categories. We have people who have lost their job, or just today I learned about a friend of mine whose lease is not being renewed on her apartment because they want to remodel it and double the price, so she can't afford to live there anymore. Those are people who definitely can just need a little bit of help in stabilizing and being able to get back into their normal lives. And then we have people like our veterans and other people who have physical or mental disabilities or health issues who don't want to be homeless but can't take care of themselves for one reason or another. And then obviously we have the people who really just don't get about being part of our society. And then those people need to be separated from those who do. And so one of the things like my nonprofit wants to do is have this village so we can actually separate those groups and handle the ones who don't want to be here and tell them, too bad.
Homelessness is driven by three great social and economic trends in America. First of all, real wages have only gone up 5% for working poor, versus housing has gone up 60%. When it comes to drug addiction, we have people who are now chronically addicted to very serious drugs, and the availability of these drugs is so great. The third problem that we face is that we have the psychiatric problems of people. Sometimes there's a combination of psychiatric problems and drug addiction. These are problems that need to be addressed at the state and federal level, because federal law cripples what we can do with the homeless. We cannot tell them they cannot come here. We cannot tell them they have to leave. And we cannot involuntarily house them in a mental health facility. We need help from the state and federal government to solve the problem.
So it does break down into the three different categories. The first category is those who do wish to move up and move forward. Those are the ones that we really need to help. The second category and the third category belongs to those who just are here for the services. When I was in Santa Clara and we were hitting one of the camps, actually on the berms of the highway, another officer showed up and asked me, "Where are you from?" I told him Colorado Springs. Believe it or not, there were a couple of guys that came up and said, "Boy, we're trying to make it down that way." So we need to be able to help those that truly need it. Those who just want to be here, we need to track what we need to do for them. We need to give them the little card so we can tell who they are. It's very hard when law enforcement comes upon them that we have to take them down and get fingerprinted just to find out who they are. So we need to start giving the services to those that want them. If you're here just to get from us, okay, we're going to help you for a little bit. But guess what? After 60 days, if you haven't improved your situation, it's time that we begin to limit the services so we can, once again, direct the money that's needed for those who live here and those who need to move forward. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. That concludes actual questions. And at this point in time, folks, we're going to ask the mayor candidates to actually provide their closing statement. And so at this time, I'll pass it off here for a 1-minute closing. And thank you for attending.
So, on closing, I just want to say that, homelessness and our roads and our schools, there are a lot of things going on here that we can do better on. Colorado Springs is great, but we could be amazing. And one of the things that's holding us back is that we don't listen to you guys. We're not listening to the voters. We have an affordable housing crisis here. 60% of our residents are paying 50% or more of their income to housing costs, which drastically feeds into the homeless. We have roads that desperately need to be repaired. We're raising taxes. We don't have money to pay for our police officers. Our budget goes who knows where. And again, it all boils down to the things happening in our city that all of you have opinions on. You go on Facebook or Nextdoor or the Indie, you see comments everywhere. And the biggest thing that I hear and see is that we are not being listened to.
I want to expand on that. She's absolutely correct that the citizens are not being listened to. Too often, we are forced to settle with solutions that you didn't vote for, you didn't agree to, and now we discover that you won't even be allowed to be polled on it. Talking about bike lanes. Another issue is that I believe that public spaces and public land should be kept in public hands. And we are having, people are being forced to sue to get this issue on the ballot. I'm still upset about what happened to Strawberry Fields. I believe that was illegally taken from the people, and I would like to revisit that issue. I believe that we need to properly fund our police and fire department safety, public safety, and we're having a problem with the diversion of taxes to special interest groups. Just last week on Tuesday, $39 million was given away. That's got to stop. Thank you.
We live in a great city. We have great neighbors. Persons like yourself are always willing to help each other. When you break down in a lane, many people jump out just to help you push that car out of the way. We're concerned about everything that we need to do. Once again, this is a great place that we live. We just need to make sure we're moving forward. We're making sure we need to do what we need to have done. We need to use the money wisely. God bless America. God bless Colorado Springs, and God bless you all.
Thank you all for coming tonight. Appreciate you giving up your time. Ladies and gentlemen, I've lived in Colorado Springs all my life. I literally grew up with this city. When I was stepping down as Attorney General, it wasn't in my game plan. I was going to go make lots of money in private practice. It wasn't in my game plan to be mayor of Colorado Springs. But I saw what happened in the first 4 years of the strong mayor system, and we simply weren't solving any problems because of dysfunction between the council and the mayor. So I ran, I identified what we needed to do to get this city moving again, and folks, we've got the city moving again. Yes, we've got challenges, some of the challenges that we talked about tonight, but I consider it a great honor and privilege to serve as the mayor of my hometown, and with your permission, I would consider it a great honor and privilege to continue serving for another 4 years. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the mayor's forum. Why don't you give them all a big hand? They didn't have to be here, but they came out for us.